at our new house. Boxes are everywhere. We're still unpacking, and this is the house we almost didn't get.
The bank that pre-approved us said everything was great, and then on the day of closing, they said, sorry, we can't give you the loan.
We were renting a house, and we'd already given our notice to move out, so we didn't know where we were going to live. With 3 small children, what do? Then we were referred to Kessler Lending Advisors.
Within 4 or 5 days, we had a commitment to loan, and then a week and a half later, we closed.
We had no idea how important it was to choose the right lender. Now we do.
Everybody, I am Cody Kessler, and we are coming to you live from the Rockville office of Kessler Lending Advisors, Division of HomeBridge Financial Services, and we are bringing you today's episode of KLA Now, a show that is designed for you, the viewers, to get inside and general information on the mortgage and real estate industries. Today's show, we are a live Facebook show that comes to you every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. And as I said, we are live and we're designed to bring you inside information. We're going to be covering topics from buying homes to selling homes to repairing homes to renovation and construction loans, all different types of mortgage products, title information, anything and everything that pertains to the real estate and mortgage industries. We are a live show, and as I said, we come to you every Wednesday at 6:30. So if you miss us any week, you can always go to our YouTube channel and check us out by searching YouTube with the keyword Kessler Lending, and you'll be able to find all our past shows there. So we hope that you go and find us because this is great information. We really think that you're going to enjoy these shows. This is a live show. I've said that a bunch of times already. So what that means is, one, we're going to roll with the punches. If we make a mistake, we're going to stick to it. It kind of makes it a little bit exciting, but it also means that we encourage you to engage with us. Like us, share this, invite your friends to watch, but especially comment and ask questions. I've got an entire team of people that are behind the camera. You can't see them. They're here ready and waiting to answer your questions and interact with you. So please, we highly encourage it, okay? Today's topic, it is a timely topic, and so I'm actually excited to talk about this show. The title is The Election and Its Effects on the Real Estate Industry. Now, a lot of you people, unless you've been asleep on a mountaintop or in a cave somewhere, the election has been number one on everybody's plate. It's literally, you can't go anywhere without people talking about this. But today's show is not about politics. We're not going to be talking about the candidates. We're not going to be talking about anything other than their economic policies and what that impact it might have on the housing and mortgage markets after one or the other administration gets into the White House, okay? So that's a great topic. I know that there's a lot of people looking for this information, but more importantly, there's a lot of people that are afraid to touch this, but we're not. We're going to jump right in and we're going to get you information that you deserve because we think that it's important. Who's going to help us bring that information to you? We've got 3 great guests on today's show. First, Jeff Pancer, the Managing Director of Capital Markets here at HomeBridge. We've also got Chris Randall, who's the Senior Vice President of Capital Markets here at HomeBridge, and then Alex Safos, Investor Relations Advisor to all of our secondary markets. This gentleman was at spent 30 years at Fannie Mae, so he understands exactly what they're thinking, how to break information down, and he's going to give us some really good insight as to what to expect out of Fannie Mae in the coming days, years, what have you. Okay, so what we want to do is, again, if you're just tuning in, my name is Cody Kessler. You are watching KLA Now, a live Facebook show that is geared for viewers to get inside information on the mortgage and real estate industries. If you are watching on a mobile phone, okay, click here. See this cool little phone that just popped over your screen? Click on it, the turn on button, okay? That's going to allow you to get notifications of when we've gone live, but it's also going to allow you to check out some cool slides that we're going to be putting up here with some pertinent information. So go ahead and click that button, okay? Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram because we've got lots of cool, newly listed properties that we're going to be displaying there so you can check out that information. So on Instagram, follow us at Kessler Lending, okay? All right, so we've got a contest announcement to make. We've got a $25 Starbucks gift card, okay? So this is going to go out to one random person who likes our episode and leaves a comment, okay? So we're really looking for that interaction. So again, like the episode and comment, and you'll be entered to win a $25 gift card that we'll announce next week's show, okay? So next thing that we're gonna talk about, mortgage rates. It is the number one question that everybody asks me, what are rates doing? So here's something that we're gonna start doing, and it's called a mortgage rate update. And I'm gonna go ahead and give you a recap, and as you can see this slide here, what we've got is last week's recap. Now, this information comes from Freddie Mac. It is also brought to you by Mortgage News Daily. Now, these are the national averages for 30-year fixed mortgages. And what you can see is, starting October 24th, they actually jumped up substantially, and there was the highest point of the week on October 27th at 3.61%. Now, you got to remember, that is an average. So this is all the data that comes into Freddie Mac, and it is averaging every single 30-year fixed loan plus any points that are paid on this. So when you're looking at this, you can't just walk into a mortgage company and say, hey, 3.61%. What you need to understand is that is the average. But the good news is it's starting to tick back down at the end of last week. But as we've seen this week so far, we've seen some very volatile information. Rates have been up and down based upon economic news that has come out. So we'll come back to you next week's show with more up-to-speed information of how this week ended. If anybody is just tuning in, I'm Cody Kessler. You're watching KLA Now, which is a live Facebook show. Again, here's a quick reminder. If you're watching on a mobile phone, which I'm sure that most of you are, click turn on to watch and get live notifications when we go on. And please, again, like the episode and comment to enter to win a $25 Starbucks gift card, and we'll be announcing that random winner on next week's show, okay? So here, we're gonna jump into our new segment, Hot New Listings. We got 3 new listings coming to you in the DMV, and the first one, again, let me actually remind you, to see these listings, follow us on Instagram, at Kessler Lending, okay? So listing number 1 comes to us from a great realtor, good partner, great friend. His name is Brian Lumpkin. Brian works with Remax Realty Services, and his listing is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It's got an open floor plan, hardwood floors, fully furnished basement, close to the town center, where you got restaurants, shopping, other amenities. It's coming to you guys on the market at $349,900. Great property. Check out the photos. It is beautiful. And if you need any more information or want to get a listing or a viewing scheduled, please contact Brian. His information is up on the screen now, okay? Listing number 2, coming to you from Donna Dieter. Donna is Long and Foster Real Estate, another great agent. This property, 4-bedroom, 3.5 baths, granite countertops, hardwood floors, 2-car garage, stainless steel appliances. I believe this house is beautiful on the inside. Market price or listing price of $425,000. If you have any questions about this property, please feel free to reach out to Donna. Her contact information is on the screen. Listing number 3, Curtis Pre. These properties are recently redone. There's a total of 8 brand new properties that were completely renovated. They're all condos in the same project, 2 bedrooms, 1-bedroom units. There's a variety of floor plans, but like I said, they're all newly renovated. They've got rear decks, granite countertops, oak wood floors, starting at $379,000. Reach out to Curtis to get more information on all 8 of these great units. I can tell you they're in an area, they are not going to last long. They're beautiful on the inside, lots of great photos. So again, check us out for more information on all these properties. Follow us on Instagram at Kessler Lending. You'll get some great information there. So, okay, so that is where we end. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to jump into our today's topic with our 3 guests, Jeff, Chris, and Alex, where we're going to be talking about the election and its effects on the real estate market. We're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Okay, guys, hey, welcome back. You are watching KLA Now. I am Cody Kessler, and we're about to jump back in and make sure that we've got a great topic to talk about today. We're talking about the election and the effects on the real estate and mortgage industry. So I want to remind you guys, this is a live Facebook show, so we love interaction, like, comment, do all those things. And if you do happen to do those things, we've got a random winner that's going to get a $25 Starbucks gift card if you like this episode and you comment. So make sure that you do that for your chance to win. We'll announce the winner on next week's show, okay? So let's go ahead and jump right back into this thing. I'm going to give you a little backstory as to why we're doing this show. The first reason is that there's not a lot of people that are talking about this, okay? This is a very good topic, and unless you've been sleeping, in a cave somewhere, like I said earlier, this has been the hottest topic of conversation, the elections and what's going to happen and where are we going to go with this thing. So this conversation, there's not a lot of agencies, there's not a lot of, even the media is not touching on this because of how sensitive the topic is. So today what we're going to do, we've got some great guests with us that are going to get into this and give us a great idea of what their opinions are. And before we do this, I want to make sure that you guys know this is not a political conversation. This is not something where we're saying one candidate is better than another. So this is literally, we're going to be looking at data, economic and financial data, and then we're going to be making some basically predictions of what we think the market would be based upon a Trump presidency or a Clinton presidency. We'll let you guys decide which is which, and you can take that information to the polls, but we're not going to be weighing in on that on this show right here. So first, we have Mr. Jeff Pancer joining us today. He's the Managing Director of Capital Markets here at HomeBridge. We also have Mr. Chris Randall, who's the Senior Vice President of Capital Markets at HomeBridge. We thought that Mr. Alex Saflos was going to be able to join us, but unfortunately he will not be. Alex had a great deal of experience with Fannie Mae, so we were hoping that he would be able to join us, but we are more than sufficient with Jeff and Chris. We're really looking forward to the conversation, the information they're going to be able to give us today. Okay? So gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Greatly appreciated. Good to see you guys today. Awesome.
Thanks, Cody.
So what we're going to do is we're going to jump right into the conversation, and we're going to start with, I don't care which one of you guys takes this, but I want to kind of cover both of the candidates' economic policies from a macro level, and just kind of give an overview so that everybody is watching, that anybody that's watching today can get an idea of what their policies are. So if somebody wants to jump in, I don't care who it is, let's talk about Trump's economic policy, and we'll start with that.
Sure, I can take that one. From a Trump perspective, Trump is obviously preaching, smaller government, less regulation. So as it relates to the housing market, you'll see Trump make some decisions related to the regulations associated with housing today. Today, there's a group that was started with Dodd-Frank legislation, which is called the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, the CFPB. And the CFPB was set up to for oversight to mortgage lending and credit card financing, and that was put in place, and it's been put in place almost like a consumer watchdog. You include that with some of the regulation associated to Dodd-Frank as far as limitations and capital necessary, the market has become restrictive. You're not seeing any kind of capital into the secondary markets. Most loans today are being sold to the agencies, Fannie, Freddie, and Ginnie Mae. So what Trump brings is he will look to limit regulation and probably suppress the influence of the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. He'll also try to infuse capital, private monies into the mortgage market, which could open up opportunities for products and additional financing.
Yeah. Okay. Anything specific that you guys have heard about economics? Obviously the deregulation is a big thing. I think that he's been pretty vague on what his economic policy is specifically. Do you guys have any insight on that?
Not really on that, but we can talk about what we think his policy would do to interest rates.
Well, let's do this. Let's give the opposing view of what Clinton's economic policies are.
Sure, we can take that. Obviously, she is the steady as she goes candidate, not really making any major changes to economic policy as far as the Fed goes. She wants to leave Fed Chairman Janet Yellen in place, whereas Trump wants to replace her. That's causing a little bit of a skittish atmosphere in the market and driving up volatility. Due to that, the uncertainty of who's going to be running the Fed. Janet Yellen has a plan in place on when they're going to raise interest rates, and any new Fed chairman would change that, or potentially could change that. So she is steady as she goes, keep the market stable, slow growth, steady growth, which is what we've been seeing over the last few years under President Obama.
And when you're talking about the market, you guys are talking about the equity markets, meaning the stock markets, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's correct.
So for those of you guys that are watching this, how bonds trade and really where mortgage-backed securities and mortgage rates come from, they trade inversely of the equities markets. So, when we're looking at the stability that Jeff was talking about, the stability in the equities markets, or instability for that matter, that's what impacts the bond market, because those two are going to trade inversely. When you've got a lot of volume in equities, it's been taken out of the bond market or the safe haven. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about specifically, what is Trump going to do? You've talked and alluded to the deregulation. How would that deregulation actually open up and help the housing and finance markets?
Well, I think the objective is with any deregulation is to add liquidity to the markets, right? Right now, some of the regulation is preventing private capital from entering the markets. It's preventing certain borrowers to get financing, because it's all, when private capital moves in, it widens the spectrum from a product perspective, right?
Yeah.
Right now, the box from a credit standpoint is very tight. And as you see deregulation and there's values for investors to actually enter the market, you'll start seeing them come in, and that'll open it up and it should create more traction, in the housing market.
Understood. Same question, and I don't, Jeff, if you want to take this one about Clinton, same question. What are her policies, and how do you see them actually opening up housing markets? What do you think it's going to do, basically, in the future, not in the next 90 days, but how do you think that it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I think she's going to try and help the affordable market. She has some plans in place for the lower and moderate income borrowers, whereas Trump's plan helps more of the higher end jumbo type borrowers, self-employed. Her plans are more towards the inner cities and helping those folks. So yeah, on the housing front, helping the inner city and more so than the self-employed borrower.
She's been talking about a lot of the down payment assistance programs and bringing those things back in, because from what I understand, her plan is to really just try to help the first-time home buyers get more into the market, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And inversely, I think Trump is on the other end of this with the deregulation. What you guys have mentioned is that actually opens it up for people on the higher end, self-employed borrowers, people that traditionally are kind of having an issue, getting mortgages in that end. I would say that those are probably the biggest differences in the two of what segment of the market. Do you guys think that one or the other is better? Which segment is going to open up and help the economy more?
Well, from my perspective, I think that over the last 8 years, I think there's been a huge push in affordable housing, right? I think we've seen that with bond agencies and DPAs. So I don't know how much more stimulus you can add to the affordable housing market. I do think, and we talked about this, I do think there's an issue right now in the country for that move-up borrower, okay? That what a move-up borrower is a person who's had a home their first home for 3 or 4 years, and now their family's expanded, and they're looking for that second tier house, in that, call it the $500,000 to $800,000 range. That borrower, I think, is not being, there's not enough options for that particular borrower to take that next step. The super jumbo market will always be there. There's private wealth, management companies that'll provide financing to those people. But that move-up borrower is a necessity for the entire housing market, right? Because if there's not the ability to do that, there becomes limited supply of first-time home buyer homes. So you have a lack of supply. So you just need the entire market to kind of move.
I get it. Well, so, I mean, from a growth standpoint, some of the numbers, the chief economist for Redfin, Nella Richardson, she's predicted that there's going to be price growth, but slow, steady price growth through 2017, moderate, but it is planned to or expected to level off. I think NAR has predicted about 6 million sales 2017. MBA, Mortgage Bankers Association, 5.75. Fannie Mae, Freddie, both GSEs, I think, are around 6.2. Do you see either one of these policies, and because I don't know how much they've taken into account these policies when they're doing that prediction, do you think that either one of these guys can, basically miss those numbers with a policy, or do you think that both of them are on track to basically meet those expectations?
I know. Really, what I'm saying is,
you're talking about, I think part of it is where interest rates are going to go, right? How much the market's going to move. You have, again, Clinton. If Secretary Clinton wins, steady as she goes. If Trump wins, you're going to have a very volatile market. Both of them realize that you need to raise interest rates over the relatively short term. Trump probably more so. And that raising interest rates may slow down the housing refinance boom that we've been seeing in terms of affordability. Rising interest rates, you're talking about less ability to buy a house and what the housing payment's going to do, and that move-up borrower will be impacted. So I think, a more robust policy on increasing interest rates that Trump wants may actually hurt the market in the long run. It's a stimulus for the economy in terms of investment, but it definitely does hurt interest rates.
What is his policy on actually raising interest rates?
Well, he was giving Fed Chairman Yellen a really tough time. He was saying that that the Fed was tied into the Obama administration, and that's why they haven't moved rates. You're trying to make rates very, very, very low to keep interest rates low so they can get votes. Don't necessarily agree with that, but so his plan was, or it seems his plan, even though he hasn't said it yet, is to raise interest rates. So there'll be more investing at higher interest rates, bring more money into that way. But at the offset of that is that housing rates, mortgage rates will rise.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to pin you down here. If you had to pick a candidate, and again, this is not on anything other than based upon their economic plan and how it relates to the housing and mortgage finance markets. Who's your candidate and why?
Yeah, like I said, I really believe that there's a hole in that move-up borrower and their ability to, to get financing. So, I think, Trump's policy for a couple of reasons would be beneficial to the market. I think it helps that particular borrower. It brings in private capital, and it also forces, he's going to force the Fed to kind of step away. Will that move interest rates higher? Absolutely, over time. But we live right now in an artificial environment as far as interest rates. It's not a healthy economy. As rates start to climb and people who are, saving money, see a larger interest and the cost, you'll see the market start to grow. You'll see more investors coming in, looking to interest rates for yield. Capital will move better in that kind of environment. So, if you ask me, I think that's, Trump's policy would move things further faster.
Yeah, I look at it over the long and short term. Over the short term, Secretary Clinton would be better for the housing market and better for interest rates because of the certainty of what her policy is going to be. If Trump wins, there's a lot of uncertainty, specifically in regards to our trade agreements. Europe and Asia contribute a lot of money into our treasury market. If they go away, or if they stop investing in the United States Treasury bonds, that would be a problem for interest rates over the long term. So,
as Mr. Trump said, that would be a disaster.
Yes. So, you look at it short term, if you're looking at interest rates and buying a house over the short term, maybe Secretary Clinton is the way to go. Over the long term, for investments and for just changing the way we do business, that would be on Trump's side.
Gentlemen, great information, fantastic. I greatly appreciate you giving us the time today. It's really an honor and a pleasure to have you guys on here because the information is so key, and I think that a lot of people that are watching this are really going to appreciate it. So again, Jeff Pancer, Chris Randall, thanks guys. If anybody has any questions for Jeff or Chris, feel free. We encourage you, leave comments here in the remarks section. But if you have anything, we will try to do our best to have Jeff and Chris answer your questions. We also have a team here that can handle those things. So please leave a comment. Also, please don't forget to like us on a Facebook page. We are Facebook.com/Kessler Lending Team. You can also check us out on Instagram to get all those listings that were on the earlier in the show, and you can find us on Instagram at Kessler Lending. If you always want to have questions answered by us, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us also by emailing us at KesslerLendingAdvisors@HomeBridge.com. So thank you guys so much for joining us for this episode. That's all for today. Thanks. We'll see you again next time on KLA Now.
Well, we are at our new house. Boxes are everywhere. We're still unpacking, and this is the house we almost didn't get.
The bank that pre-approved us said everything was great, and then on the day of closing, they said, sorry, we can't give you the loan.
We were renting a house, and we'd already given our notice to move out, so we didn't know where we were going to live. With 3 small children, what do you do? Then we were referred to Kessler Lending Advisors.
Within 4 or 5 days, we had a commitment to loan, and then a week and a half later, we closed.
We had no idea how important it was to choose the right lender. Now we do.